everybody, this is Eric Worre and welcome to NetworkMarketingPro.com. We are using some new technology via Skype to talk to MLM superstar, Mr. Dan McCormick. I'm in Minneapolis, he's in California. Where exactly in California are you, Dan?
Coto de Caza, California in South Orange County, Eric. Good to be with you.
Well, thank you for taking the time and exploring this new interview technology experiment. Why don't you tell everybody, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to kind of start, as you know, on Network Marketing Pro, we interview people who have earned more than $1 million in a year in commissions. And you're one of those people, young guy, done well. You know, you just told me you had a huge month last month. Congratulations on that. Why don't you tell me, what's your best year that you've had in commissions?
It'll be this year.
Yeah?
Oh, it'll be up in a few million anyway.
Yeah? Over two,
yeah.
You think?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Well, congratulations. Well done. That's
pretty
exciting.
Special, pretty special time. I mean, you know, we've seen these cycles kind of work now, you know, for 27 years. When I started, I didn't know that a bad economy was a good thing. You know, my wife was a distributor with a company out of Canada, and lo and behold, I learned that 1982 at 18–19% interest rates was a good thing to get in front of, not a bad thing. And
yeah.
You know, so we were at the right place at the right time, made millions of dollars, passed our first $1 million when I was 22 years of age.
That's just unbelievable.
We were very, very blessed, and then it was weird again because here we were in Southern California, and in the early 90s, and you know, after the Gulf War, the economy was bad again, and you know, when that happens, you just increase your recruiting pool so dramatically because of all these people.
If you have your mind set
exactly
to that type of a frequency, because a lot of people in a bad economy that are in network marketing, they just kind of say, well, it's a bad economy. I guess I can't do very well right now. I'll wait until things get a little bit better because people are scared and I can't really have the success. What have you seen people on both sides of that mindset?
Yeah, definitely. You know, I mean, look, you're going to have some people that are always going to be in a mindset, right? And that's the old SW thing, and we just keep moving on. But I like it. I mean, I think it's neat that, you know, hey, I lost a couple $1 million in value on my house. So what? Equity is not what it's all about anymore. It's about cash flow. If you've got cash flow, cash is king right now.
So you lost a couple million in value on your house. I wonder if that slid by very many people.
Well, it's just reality. I mean, you can't wake up in the morning and say, hey, I lost another 100 grand today in the house. But, you know, It's just, you look at the positives, I guess.
Yeah. How old are you now? Do you mind me asking?
46, 4 daughters, married 27 years, 2 son-in-laws.
46 years old. And you started in this profession at what age?
19.
19. So tell me about your very first introduction to the network marketing profession. What were you thinking? What was going on?
Well, actually, I'll tell you a piece of the story that I've never told. How about that?
Oh, good. I like it.
Some unique fun. So I'm in high school, and my uncle invites me to go to a meeting. And I've got these Seattle Seahawks. I grew up in Seattle. And these Seattle Seahawk punter, Herman Weaver, and one of the other offensive line guys is there. And they're rubbing these 2 coins together. And then you turn the 2 coins over and you rub them together on the other side. Well, one side of the coin was treated with an oil additive for your car that made your car get better gas mileage. So here I am, and I'm in high school, don't know anything about what's going on. I'm just thinking, man, these guys are making all this money selling this oil additive, right? Well, obviously, I went off to Washington State University.
I played on like Slick 50 or something?
It was Slick 50, yeah, exactly.
Wow.
It was Slick 50, man. I was all pumped up and driving all over the state of Washington thinking I was going to take Slick 50 to the world. And it was rather interesting to say the least. But I went off to Washington State University. I finished college in 2 weeks' time. I mean, most people don't finish in 2 weeks, but for me, I call it finishing.
Yep.
Most people, you know, call it dropping out, but I look at the positive side of it. I had a PhD. I was poor. I was hungry, and I was driven. The following summer, I was building tennis courts for the 2nd year, making a whopping $5 an hour. And lo and behold, I answered an ad in the newspaper. I'll never forget it. It was a bone-chilling moment. I was scared because the guy that called me back on the ad in the newspaper started asking me about my business background. Well, I didn't. I worked in tennis clubs. I built tennis courts. I was a tennis player. And so I answered this ad, and And he says, come meet me at the Holiday or the Greenwood Inn. Come meet me at the Greenwood Inn at 11 a.m. tomorrow. And I said, how am I going to recognize you? He says, I'm a really big guy and I got a really wide part. And I'm sitting there thinking about this. Big guy, wide part. I'll go down. I put on my nicest jeans, my best tennis shirt. And so I walk in and I see this big guy, and he has hair right here on both sides of his head. So what he meant was he didn't have hair like the two of us. He had this big old
you're doing better than me, brother.
Oh, my goodness. It's just a crack up. And so he said, you need to come to a meeting. So I took my mom to my first meeting.
What company was this?
That was Herbalife.
Okay.
And met my wife there, married my upline. I always tell people I married up. In this case, it was 3 generations up. And so we found ourselves at the right place at the right time with the right people. And we were very blessed to make a lot of money. And really, most importantly, Eric, we learned the principles. And I think that's kind of the foundation of where it started. I mean, we learned from maybe the best ever in Mark Hughes, Jim Rohn, and Larry Thompson.
They're very good.
Think about how many millionaires were created from that culture. Mm-hmm. And, you know, one of the things that I did, Eric, is I tried to study their mentors. So I went back and I studied the guys that they learned from. I actually have the entire genealogy tree in one of my journals where you look back all the way back into the 60s on who were their mentors and who taught them. It's a fascinating journey, but I get into great lives, and I really, you know, it's probably one of the more significant endeavors in my life is to study.
Did you ever meet Bill Bailey and those guys?
Bill's on the list for sure.
Yeah?
Larry Huff, Bill Bailey, you know, you go way back.
Yeah, Bill's a kick, man.
Yeah, he is.
Bill did some stuff with TPN back when we were doing that, and surprising to know that Bill was one of Jim Rohn's big time mentors.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so
really looked to him.
You take all those experiences and you know, doing what you do on your program here is you're trying to pull out of all these people. Well, all of us have something from them.
Sure.
And they had mentors too. If you want to go back all the way to William Penpatrick, if you want to look at who Penpatrick learned from, if you want to look at what did Penpatrick have on his ship? A library. He was a vociferous reader. And so one of the huge things that I'm always a big proponent of is, look, everyone should always have 2 books with them, one to read and one to write in.
Right.
So I don't know if this will show up on the screen.
Yeah, that shows up good.
So there's my book, Lessons from Great Lives.
Yep.
And then here's my journal. So you always have 2 books with you, one to read so you're learning and one to write so that you remember, because this is a paper memory.
So why does your journal have mega on it?
Oh, Mark Victor Hansen and one of his, I was just supporting.
Oh, you did one of his mega events?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mark's a good friend.
Well, I think MBA stands for Massive Bank Account, and Mark's one of the greatest thinkers I've ever met. So
yeah, I mean, he'll expand your mind. I mean, he goes all over the place, but he'll expand your mind for sure.
Well, you're right. He does go all over the place, but he's a fun guy. He's a fun guy.
All right, well, let me back up. You know, this story sounds a little bit like you went straight to the top, made $1 million in 15 seconds, and you know it was. You never had any struggle. You never had any challenges. I know that that's not true.
No, you're right.
What was the process as you were working to become a network marketing professional? First of all, let me ask you this: how long do you think it took for you to become a network marketing professional?
I tell the story all the time, and I'll reference a paper that I hope everyone will go read because I think it's very, very valuable. It was in Fortune magazine a couple years ago, written by Jeffrey Colvin. Jeffrey with a G, and the article was called What It Takes to Be Great. And I always tell people that it took me 7 years to be comfortable. That doesn't mean I'll never reference to myself to be great. I mean, I've got a lot of learning to do, and I certainly know that there's a lot of people out there that can do it better than me. There's a lot of people in my downline today that do it better than me. But there's very few people that do it better than me in one thing, and that is consistency. I really believe that that is a word that people lose track of. I mean, you don't go to the fitness center and work out once and get the body you want. You've got to really put in the time and the energy. And what Colvin talks about in that article, what great lives in my book, Lessons from Great Lives, you study these lives, Eric, and it's like they literally gave it all, everything they could give for their mission. Ralph Waldo Emerson to do what he did. Abe Lincoln to do what he did, Joan of Arc for what she did. They all gave it all. And I think that I've given a lot of myself to understand that for things to change, I've got to change. We've all heard that. For things to get better, I've got to get better. But it's real.
Yeah.
It's not words. It's not
just
platitudes.
it's just not just a quote.
It's real.
Why is it you think that people inside of network marketing have such a lottery mentality? They're going to try it for 2 weeks. They're going to talk to 5 people. They're going to think about maybe doing something. If anybody gives them 1 ounce of resistance, then they just say, "Well, I guess this isn't for me. I'm out of here." Why is it that our business seems to attract that mindset?
Well, isn't that the greed mentality of American Greed on CNBC?
Yeah,
I mean,
but that's true, but they don't have that mindset when they start a dry cleaning business.
Yeah, you're right.
They don't have that mindset when they start a lawn mowing business. I mean,
I think it's expectations. I mean, you come to your first interview was with Nathan Ricks, the first show you ever did, right?
Yeah.
And what happened to Nathan in his 12th month? He made $100,000. He's never looked back for 20 some odd years, 100,000 plus a month or more, and who knows how many hundreds of thousands he'll make this month. But I think that's the thing. You see a story like that, and you think, hey, if it can happen for him, it can happen for me.
Mm-hmm.
And if it doesn't happen in 30, 60, 90 seconds, then they fold up their tent.
Yeah.
It's the law of expectation.
Okay.